Hello everyone, welcome to EduTap. I'm Sudbi and this is Perspective 360 Degree, your one-stop solution for current affairs, descriptive writing and answer writing evaluation. Welcome back all the viewers. The overwhelming response that you have given to this series with the answers that you send in the comment section and the feedback that you give, it has just, grounded us more. It has filled us with gratitude and we are very happy that this initiative is making a difference to your preparation and you're able to improve with the help of this initiative. Before proceeding any further, just let me know in the chat section if my audio is clear so far and the video is clear to you. That means the screen is visible, the slide is entirely visible, there are no cuts, there are no breaks in between. So the chat section is open. All right, then we'll begin with the discussion. All right, thank you all of you. So today's topic is Uniform Civil Code, a debate between secularism and equality. Is it? Is it a debate between religion or is it a tussle between religion and basic human rights? Is it like that or the reality is something different? So to understand that, to answer this question, the first thing that we have to do is understand what is Uniform Civil Code about. Before that, you need to have a clarity regarding what are personal laws, what is the extent of the prevalence of your religion, whichever you follow, or even if you don't follow any, and what are personal laws which this UCC that we'll call is trying to codify. Okay, so Akhila, all right, visible. Thank you. All of you. First of all, let's see why this has been in news. So recently, Uttarakhand is going to become the first state to implement Uniform Civil Code. They will try to implement it in a month's time. Also, Assam is trying to implement Uniform Civil Code. And, Uniform Civil Code has been in news for the entire year, especially in the second half of the year. Also, this topic is very important from your exam point of view. I'll show you the syllabus perspective of this topic. For RBI Grade B, in the economic and social issues paper, you have this topic called social structure in India. And under that, there is a topic called multiculturalism 1. I have not highlighted here, but the other topics are gender issues and social justice. So these three topics, or I would say social structure in India, if a question has to be asked from here, then Uniform Civil Code is a very much expected question that can be asked. The second one is NABARD Grade A that we are covering. For again, here we've highlighted multiculturalism again for ESI section. Gender issues in joint family system, Indian political system, because Uniform Civil Code is mentioned in your constitution. Which article it is mentioned in, we'll just study in a while. And then current economic and social issues. So it forms a part of all of these. For SEBI Grade A, again, this topic does not hold direct relevance, but for English writing skills, this is very important for you to understand. Now, the expected question from here, this is something that requires understanding and clarity on your part. So the first thing that can be asked is, what is Uniform Civil Code? You can be asked clarity regarding this, but the thing is that clarity from the government's perspective has also not been given to the citizens as much as it is desired. So a straightforward definition not required. But will you be expected to explain it? Yes, we'll do that in the introduction. Apart from that, what are the challenges involved or what can be the benefits of UCC? Why do we even want it? So all these aspects we will be covering through the question that we have today, so that the entire topic finds a 360-degree coverage. Examine the need for a Uniform Civil Code in India. Also, discuss the issues involved. Answer in 600 words for 15 marks. All right, Sejal, welcome to the class. Just stay tuned and you will benefit a lot out of it. Now, here I have the answer blueprint that has been developed by EduTap experts. Kindly follow this blueprint. What we do is we divide our answer into three parts, that is introduction, main body and conclusion. In the introduction, we start with focus on the topic or theme which is mentioned in the question. So we talk a little about the topic in introduction, and in this case, we'll talk about UCC, Uniform Civil Code a little. We'll also try to show off our knowledge of current affairs or of constitution here if we know some facts about it. So I'll show you how do you do that. In the main body, we have two parts, that is subheading 1 and subheading 2. There could be a subheading 3 also if the question has 3 parts to it, and there could be just subheading 1 only if the question has just one part to it. Then you can sum up your answer with a way ahead or a conclusion. Now let's break the question down and let's understand what we are writing in introduction. In the introduction, we'll definitely explain Uniform Civil Code. So we'll understand what is it, and then we'll write about it. And your introduction should not be more than 10% of your word limit. So in this case, the word limit is 600 words. 10% of 600 is 60 words. So don't take it beyond 60 words. The body part 1, we'll talk about the need of Uniform Civil Code because the question demands that. The second part would be about discuss the issues involved. So issues involved would be in second part, and the conclusion will give us we'll write a way forward in the conclusion. In this entire answer, just remember, I see a lot of you saying that, ma'am, 90 minutes are not enough to write 4 answers, and which is very much right. Writing 4 answers in 90 minutes, and that too, so many words, that might not be possible. So for a 600 words answer, you can restrict yourselves to anywhere between 4 to 450 words if you are short in time. Okay, and for a 400 words, again go to 250 to 300 words. That would be good for you. Now, starting with the introduction, what is Uniform Civil Code? So see, I would start by telling you that religion and your culture, we all come from different religions, we all have different cultural traditions. So these religious practices or cultural practices, they are secured by constitution. They are secured for you, for every individual in the country, by the constitution. And you must have heard about cultural and religious rights, which are part of fundamental rights of constitution. So nobody can take these rights from you. Now, as part of religion, there are some personal rights also that we get from our religion. For example, you might have seen that how marriage is conducted in all the religions is very, very different. One religion conducts marriage in a very different way, the other one conducts in a very different way. The customs and rituals, they differ a lot. Similarly, when people, let's say, when somebody dies, sadly, then there are different rituals that are carried out there. But we are not concerned about death here. What we are concerned about is the things, the personal rights which impact us while we are living. So I would take examples of, let's say, personal rights or, personal activities like marriage, like divorce, like adoption of a child, and things like that. So now, let's say 2 people get married. Okay. Let's say they come from a religion called A. Let's say this person is X and this person is Y. Now they come from a religion called A. Now, let's say sadly, they do not get into good terms with each other even after marriage. So they decide to separate. Now, according to religion A, they just cannot separate. It is not allowed for them to separate if they have got married. And yes, in your country, there are many religions like that. In fact, one of the most popular religion that does not have the idea of divorce. In a religion B, they say it is very much okay, just start living separately and it will be considered a divorce. In religion C, the criteria for divorce is that you both have to marry someone else so that you can separate. And there could be religion D, there could be religion E, and not just religions, these could as well be tribal groups also. And we all know that tribals, they are very much separated from the modern society that we nowadays live in. They do not have access to education or any courts or government, nothing like that. So they all have different practices for, let's say, marriage, divorce, adoption of a child, or anything like that. Property rights for that matter. Okay, does the son have the right to property of his father? Does a daughter have the right to property of his father? Does a wife have the right to property of his father? Does a mother have a right to property of her son? And things like that. So basically, these laws, these rights, they differ, they vary from place to place, and in every place you have different religions and different cultural practices. These are what form your personal laws. Now, Uniform Civil Code, this Uniform Civil Code is basically an attempt by the government to codify these laws under one umbrella, that there would be marriage laws just of one type, there would be let's say divorce laws of just one type. Let's say if these 2 people have to separate, they have to go to the district court and sign papers, only then they will be considered divorce. If they are living separately according to religion B or tribal community B, then they will not be considered divorce. If they have to adopt a child, then again they have to move to the court, or they have to carry out certain practices to be able to adopt a child. Or let's say in certain religions, a single mother or let's say a single father is not allowed to adopt a child. So all these practices to ensure equality amongst all citizens in our country, they will be coded in a uniform civil code. So it will cover your personal rights or civil matters, and since it will be same for all the country, for the entire country, for all religious groups, that's why it is called as uniform. And code, because it will be in a coded format, it will be in a written format. So let's say females of one religion will have equal rights as compared to females of another religion. I will explain this a little more as we move forward, but as of now, explaining uniform civil code, I think you have enough information with regards to it. Also, having the uniform civil code is part of your directive principles of state policy under Article 44. Now, there are two things. One is your fundamental rights, for which you can approach the courts if your fundamental rights are, let's say, they're abrogated. And the other ones are like noble principles for the government of India, that in the long run, we will implement these principles or we will implement these laws. And these are enshrined in the Constitution. And in Article 44, UCC, Uniform Civil Code, has been enshrined that this should be implemented in the coming times. So that's why let's define it. India is a country of diverse religions, cultures, and traditions. Just start with it. And because of these diverse religions, cultures, and traditions, since these are protected in fundamental rights, hence, as our personal rights, they are regulated by our cultural religions and religion and traditions. Hence, our personal rights are also protected. So each community has its own set of personal laws and customs that govern their civil matters such as marriage, divorce, inheritance, and adoption based on their religion, faith, and beliefs. A very, very simple, introduction. Now introduce Uniform Civil Code. Here you have given the background. Now introduce Uniform Civil Code by saying that a UCC would provide for one law for the entire country, applicable to all the communities in their personal matters. So that's a humongous step. That is a very, very big step. And just talk about the background of Constitution to validate your introduction, that the Constitution lists the UCC among DPSPs, Directive Principles of State Policy, which makes it a desirable objective under Article 44. And you will be surprised that Goa, if you are staying in Goa, or if you have been born in Goa, no matter which religion you are following, no matter which cultural practices you are following, there is a uniform civil code in Goa. So if somebody has to get married, divorced, adopt a child, then there are a certain set of specific laws which have to be followed, and they are same for all the Goans, irrespective of whether they are Christian, Muslim, Parsi, Hindu, or whichever religion they follow. So currently, Goa is the only state across India that has a uniform civil code. They have maintained a set of personal rights which are uniform for all the religions since they got independence from Portuguese rule, since that time. Now, moving on to Let's Delve Deeper section. But before that, if you have some doubts, just let me know in the chat section so that, we can proceed without having you any doubts in mind. Vandita, kindly contact our support team for that. So in the Let's Delve Deeper section, we'll introduce the need of UCC. Why is Uniform Civil Code required? Now, I will give you one example. Let's say there is a man and a woman who get married. This is a woman called Y and this is a person called X who's a man. She's a female, he's a male, and in religion A, let's say they get married. Okay, they get married, and what happens after some time? This female Y does not feel good. She does not feel attached with this man X. So she decides to separate and she decides to marry someone else. Now she decides to marry someone else and this person is called Z. So now they get married. Now does this woman have some responsibility over this man also? Who decides that? Does she have any responsibility to take care of him, to let's say, to give some maintenance to him in the form of money, in the form of cash, anything like that, so that he can, come out of the emotional damage that he has suffered? Or let's say, if such things can happen. Or on the other hand, if this man separates from, let's say, this woman Y and he marries someone, let's say, a girl called B, then does this man have any responsibility towards this woman because she left her house to live with him? Now where will she live if he's asking this woman to live in the same house as them? So does he have any responsibility towards the previous wife? So these laws, they're different for all the religions, and these laws, they're impacting the basic human rights in the citizens of, for the citizens of the country. So even if you're born as a citizen of the country, your religion determines, or your cultural practices determine how much equality or freedom or liberty you have in the country, and which is not liked by, let's say, the courts, by the government. So that's why they're trying to establish a uniformity. So what is the need? The first need here is national integration. The second would be gender justice and equality for all the genders, irrespective of where they come from, which religion they follow. The third one is simplification and rationalization of the legal system, so that understanding of all these laws is very simple and for the entire country. And the fourth one is modernization. There are many cultural practices which are age-old practices. For example, practices like child marriage, and we don't need them, though we have made them illegal, but in Uniform Civil Code they will be covered that child marriage in any religion is not allowed. So okay, modernization would be there. There are some forms of divorce which are like age-old practices and which are not in favor of let's say human rights. So these will be abrogated automatically when UCC comes into picture. And so yes, national integration, talking about it, the first topic that we'll take here is national integration. So UCC will promote national integration since there will be the same set of laws and it will create a common identity and sense of belonging amongst all the citizens. It would reduce the communal and sectarian conflicts. Nobody will say that my religion is better than yours or yours is lesser than mine, because there will be same set of personal laws. Nobody would hate each other. And what would be the benefit of this, I'll tell you in a while. So constitutional values of equality, fraternity and dignity for all religions can be upheld. Let's say property rights or inheritance rights for daughters, or polygamy can be, let's say, abrogated, or it can be restricted, or maintenance for partners who are left behind or who are disabled, that can be legalized. Then there is gender justice and equality. And here I'll talk with respect to women a lot, because research has proved that women have faced a lot because of gender injustices. So it would ensure gender justice and equality by removing discrimination and oppression faced by women under various personal laws. So they will have similar rights in the case of marriage, divorce, inheritance, adoption, maintenance, etc. Who gets the right to keep the child after a divorce? For example, such rights, they differ over religion, they differ over all the communities. Now, a uniformity can be established without actually moving to the courts. And it would also empower women to challenge the patriarchal and regressive practices that actually challenge their fundamental rights. And since this will be religion neutral, UCC is going to be religion neutral. Nowadays, what happens that in cases of intercaste marriage, after the marriage or for the marriage to be successful, you have to convert to the religion of your partner. So conversion has to occur. That's why most of the people in our country, they are against inter-religion marriages. If I said intercaste, that's my bad. But for inter-religious marriages, conversion has to be carried out. The name of the, let's say, woman gets changed from one surname to another surname. That's why inter-religious couples, they are not promoted. They are in fact hated by many people in the society in most parts of our country. So this problem can be done away with when you have one uniform civil code. Then the third one is simplification and rationalization of the legal system, very much required. It would make the law more accessible and understandable. It would remove the complexities and contradictions of multiple personal laws. So very much reliever for advocates also, for our courts also, and it would help the pendency of the judiciary also, because understanding would be easier. Then modernization and reform of outdated and regressive practices. What are the outdated and regressive practices which are available in our personal laws? हमें अपनी रोज की लाइफ में हमारे आसपास ऐसे कौन से आउटडेटेड प्रैक्टिसेस देखने को मिलते हैं जो हमें नहीं पसंद? Triple talaq is there, which was instant talaq. Polygamy is there, having multiple wives, even when the first wife is existent in her full health. child marriage, all these practices, they can be done away with when you have same laws for the entire country. As of now, there are many religions which allow polyandry or let's say polygamy for their individuals. There are other religions which allow only for monogamy, that is just one partner or one marital partner at one time. So all these regressive practices which actually take the rights of one gender or one human being, they can be done away with. So when you have just one code, so this changing social realities and aspirations of people, they can be accommodated. For example, new types of couples can be registered. Now moving to the body part 2, that is issues involved. What do you think are the issues involved with the implementation, or let's say with the codifying of a uniform civil code? Now I'll get back to the chat section again to see your previous doubts, and by that time kindly let me know what do you think, क्या problems आ सकती हैं uniform civil code को implement करने में, या इसकी बात करने में भी क्या दिक्कतें आ रही हैं. So yes, Saransh, kindly book a strategy call with me or with our team members at 8146-207-241 for this doubt. Vandita, just talk about the diversity of the country first. पहले आप diversity से बात कीजिए कि diversity इतना है हमारी country में कि सबके personal laws बहुत ही ज़्यादा और भी ज़्यादा diverse है. फिर uniform civil code की definition थोड़ी सी ज़्यादा sense बनाएगी. That's my opinion. But if you have any other way of giving an introduction, kindly post that with your answer in the comment section. Yes, Sejal, that is very much right. This will give status to women in the marriage domain and divorce domain. So Ankita says it's after every live class, please pin the best answer. Ankita, we are working on that. Challenging the current community related taboos. Yes, Vandita, that's right. Akhila says, should we mention triple talaq because it is related to Muslim community only? Will the evaluator feel offensive? I don't think so, because that has been snapped by the courts already. So nothing like that. Huge protest from hardcore religious peoples. Yes, that's the first problem. Many religious leaders, they do not agree with a uniform civil code. They say that we want freedom in the personal rights spheres at least, and that is our fundamental right also. It is a part of our religious practice. The way we adopt children, the way we separate from our marriages, the way we get married, the way we inherit property, that is our personal matter, nothing to do with the government. So yes, many religious groups are saying that, so it would be very tough. Secondly, it would be, there are so many diverse personal laws that establishing one common law for the entire country is really a humongous step. And let's say when we were writing our constitution, then there were many good constitutions that were available at that time where we could take our hints from. But for a uniform civil code, India is a very diverse country, and having a uniform civil code, it does not have any blueprint. We do not have any ideal document to look at, so it is going to be a very big step. Okay, Sejal. Yes, Vandita, creating awareness, that's the thing. Yes, we will find more problems. So here, first, we have 4 problems that are, very important, and we will discuss them in like full length. बहुत ही अच्छे से हम लोग describe करने वाले हैं. इनको 4 parts में हम लोग divide कर सकते हैं. The first one is there are diverse personal laws and customary practices. So how will you ensure everyone's rights are respected and किसी के भी religion या religious sentiments को आप hurt नहीं कर रहे हैं आपका जो भी uniform civil code है वो लाने के बाद. So personal laws and practices, they vary widely across regions, sects and groups. To find a common group and uniformity among such diversity is very difficult and complex. क्या ये इशू है? ये बहुत ही बड़ा इशू है. एंड काफ़ी पर्सनल लॉज जो हैं वो कोडिफाइड भी नहीं है. दे आर नॉट रिटन इन स्क्रिप्चर्स, दे आर नॉट प्रेजेंट इन योर लॉ बुक्स, दे आर जस्ट प्रेवलेंट इन द ओरल फॉर्म. ओरल फॉर्म में है या किसी रिटन फॉर्म में डॉक्यूमेंटेड है, एंड मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम्स दे आर ऑल्सो कॉन्ट्ररी. दे वेरी फ्रॉम प्लेस टू प्लेस. सो हाउ विल यू अकोमोडेट ऑल ऑफ दीज? द सेकेंड इज रेजिस्टेंस फ्रॉम religious and minority groups, because in this discussion also we have talked about some practices which come from certain minority groups only. So these groups might feel threatened कि हमारे जो religion की practices हैं या जो हमारी personal rights की practices हैं, these are for our community only. दे आर नॉट चैलेंजिंग यू, या हम आपको कुछ नहीं बोल रहे हैं किसी और रिलीजियस ग्रुप को. सो जस्ट लेट अस बी द वे वी वांट टू बी एंड डोंट अटैक आवर रिलीजन. तो ये उनका बहुत ही मानना है दैट इट इज़ बेसिकली इरप्टिंग सेपरेटिज्म, conservatism, misconceived notions about personal laws, and it has generated a sense of insecurity, complete loss of identity, and marginalization within the Indian society, and imposition of a majoritarian outlook कि जैसा सबको सही लगता है ज़रूरी नहीं वो हमारे लिए भी सही हो. So minority rights should also be respected, and they say कि हमारा जो constitutional right है Article 25 में which gives us freedom of religion to practice, propagate and profess our religion, वो हमारा abrogate हो रहा है. So this is unconstitutional. This is what these minority groups are saying. To here you can also add the point of tribal groups, because again tribal groups have been living with certain personal practices since like times immemorial. तो वहाँ पर तो awareness generate करना भी बहुत बड़ा issue है. How will you motivate them? For example, in many tribes, if you have to carry out a marriage, two people just have to agree with each other and start staying together. There are no customary rituals involved. There is no document signing involved. So what about these couples? What about these couples? And how will you motivate them, or how will that is a solution that has to be brought out by the government. Then it questions the idea of secularism. Here talk about secularism, and there is a judgment that I have for you. Kindly flaunt this and quote this in your answers. TMA Pi Foundation versus State of Karnataka. इसमें Supreme Court ने कहा था that secularism also entails recognition and preservation of different types of people with their diverse languages, different beliefs. Kindly note. And placing them together to form a whole united India. तो ये जो secularism की definition है, this is under question, which is again coming from the Supreme Court only. तो secularism के against जिसको बोला जा रहा है clarity and applicability. Again, there is no guideline or vision document. It will be a massive exercise of drafting, codifying, harmonizing and rationalizing the personal laws and practices in India. And इसमें हमें बहुत ज़्यादा consultation के required है. Consultation is required with first of all religious leaders, religious activists, many civil society experts, NGOs के साथ, legal experts, women organizations जिनके rights impact हो रहे हैं, etc. etc. तो बहुत ही ज़्यादा deliberation और research की ज़रूरत है, and robust mechanism of enforcement, but before that robust mechanism of awareness की requirement है. So these 2 points you can add in your way forward as well. But if you want to talk about clarity and applicability as being humongous challenges, then you can talk about them here itself. All right. Now moving on to the conclusion and giving a way forward. सबसे पहले तो there are certain questions that Uniform Civil Code has to address. Adoption अगर हो रही है तो adoption का मतलब क्या है? Does the child have to live with the parents for let's say 18 years of age, then he gets the right to choose? क्या ये है adoption का मतलब? अगर marriage हो रही है तो marriage का मतलब क्या है? अगर divorce है तो divorce का मतलब क्या है? Will two people separate and just live independently and never marry again? Or when they are getting married, do they have to stay under the same roof to be called as a married couple? तो ये कुछ questions हैं जो कि हमें लगता है कि यार ये तो बहुत ही simple definitions है. But if you know that recently आपका जो LGBTQ+ community है उन्होंने marital rights और being recognized as a marital couple, Supreme Court में उन्होंने बोला था that please give us a recognition of a married couple, which was denied by the Supreme Court. तो वहाँ पर हमारे क्या questions आते हैं कि हमें marriage as a concept को define करने की ज़रूरत है for all the citizens of the country. So these basic questions have to be addressed. Don't write this in your conclusion. ये आपकी सोचने के लिए points है. What is the criteria for marriage and divorce? What are the processes and consequences for adoption? अगर अडॉप्शन हो रही है तो मेंटेनेंस कहाँ से आएगी? What are the rights to maintenance or just division of wealth in the event of a divorce? What are the rules of inheritance of property? ये कुछ questions हैं जो कि समझने की ज़रूरत है before we can reach to a something code called UCC. And बहुत ज़्यादा यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड के रिस्पेक्ट में बोला जा रहा है that it will address the social problems of the country. Let's say gender equality provide करेगा, child marriage को ख़त्म करेगा. Now child marriage can be ended with other specific laws also, और काफ़ी हद तक ख़त्म हुआ भी है. On the other hand, uniform civil code लाने की उतनी ज़्यादा ज़रूरत कई लोगों को नहीं लगती to promote gender equality. Just have certain specific laws. टू प्रमोट जेंडर इक्वालिटी, विमेन का स्टेटस इंप्रूव कीजिए, उनको इंडिपेंडेंट बनाइए, तो जेंडर इक्वालिटी उन तरीकों से भी तो आ सकती है. सो प्राइम फोकस शुड बी ऑन एड्रेसिंग सोशल इशूज एंड दिस शुड नॉट बी यूज्ड एज अ मैजिक वॉन्ड टू एड्रेस ऑल दी सोशल इशूज. तो इसके बारे में आप बात कर सकते हैं. एंड द रेकमेंडेड यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड, इट शुड नॉट हार्म एनीबडीज सेंटिमेंट्स, चाहे वो माइनॉरिटी रिलीजन है, माइनॉरिटी ग्रुप है. इट शुड रिफ्लेक्ट इंडियाज मल्टीकल्चरलिज्म, एंड मल्टीकल्चरलिज्म टर्म जरूर यूज कीजिए बिकॉज दैट इज अ पार्ट ऑफ योर सिलेबस. एंड प्रिजर्व इट्स डाइवर्सिटी. यूनिटी इज मोर इंपॉर्टेंट देन यूनिफॉर्मिटी. इसको प्लीज कोट में अपने आंसर्स में लिखिए बिकॉज दिस इज द मोस्ट रिलेटेड कोड विद रिस्पेक्ट टू यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड. देन इन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन, अब कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन की हम बात करें कि आर्टिकल 44 में तो दिया है दैट देयर शुड बी अ यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड फॉर द एंटायर कंट्री, बट इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन इट टॉक्स अबाउट integration also, integrationist and restricted multicultural approaches to accommodate cultural differences. सिर्फ यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड की ही बात नहीं हुई है, इंडिपेंडेंस टू प्रैक्टिस और रिलीजन उसकी भी बात हुई है आपके कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में. सो टू फाइंड अ बैलेंस विल बी अ ह्यूमंगस टास्क फॉर द प्रेजेंट गवर्नमेंट विच इज प्लानिंग टू ब्रिंग इन अ यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड. तो यही चीज़ें अपने आंसर में लिखनी है दैट द फोकस शुड बी ऑन अचीविंग अ जस्ट कोड जो कि जस्टिस प्रमोट करे सोसाइटी में, दैट प्रमोट्स इक्वालिटी एंड justice. So that's your answer for today. That's your answer for the day. I'm displaying the question again. Next 48 hours में आप अपना आंसर comment section में post कर सकते हैं. That is by Sunday 5 PM. Kindly post your answers in the comment section below and our team experts will just go after it to provide you a very comprehensive evaluation which is entirely free of cost that EduTap is providing you with. The question again here is examine the need for a uniform civil code in India. Also discuss the issues involved. Answer for 600 words only. Word limit cross मत कीजिए. कम में लिखेंगे चलेगा, ज़्यादा मत लिखिए. The PDF for this discussion will be available on our Telegram channel by tomorrow morning. So kindly read that आउट. आई ऑलवेज सजेस्ट वीडियो 2 बार देखिए, टेलीग्राम चैनल पे जो PDF आ रहा है उसको भी 2 बार पढ़िए, देन राइट योर आंसर बिकॉज बाय दैट टाइम यू वुड हैव इनकलकेटेड अ लॉट ऑफ पॉइंट्स इन योर हेड टू बी एबल टू राइट एन आंसर ऑन योर ओन. Thank you for the discussion. If you have any doubts, kindly let me know in the chat section. और अगर आप recorded format में देख रहे हैं, then post your doubts in the comment section. I will answer them. You can send your feedback to us at hello@edutap.co.in. नहीं तो comment section में लिख सकते हैं. And you can book a strategy call with us at 8146207241. EduTap से related कोई भी courses के बारे में अगर आपको जानकारी चाहिए हो, if you need any information with us, kindly contact us at this number. Join our Telegram channel from the link in the description. Making people, yes. Okay, so there are some doubts coming here. Please give latest homework question on different topic. Okay, Nilesh, we'll start this practice also. We have been planning on it. Yes, Vandita, that was the idea, and you've given like very good insights to this discussion. All of you, not just Vandita, but all the people here. So thank you, all of you. I will see you on Monday at 5 PM. Take care. Enjoy your weekend. Complete your targets and get yourself good rest. Take care.